wanted to talk to you about being heard. This week, one of my clients asked me a very interesting question. She asked me, Barbara, you are smiling all of the time. You always seem happy. Are you never sad? Are you never hurt? And I was like, oh, wow. Yes, of course. Sometimes I'm sad. And yes, of course, I have been hurt many, many, many times in my life. But I have learned so much from it. I can say that the hurt and the pain was a source of wisdom for me, was a real teacher. Being hurt often happens to very sensitive people, to people who care a lot. If you're like me, sensitive and a giver, you give and give, you just give. Sometimes without thinking, you just give. And it happens that we get very disappointed because in giving, we think it's natural that other people will give too. And sometimes we get very, very disappointed. Because when you get hurt, it means that you have expectations, that you need the attention or the approval of the other person. And yes, of course, it's important in our lives to get supported, to be loved. But when we start doing things with the need to be approved of, with the need to get attention, with the need to be appreciated or loved, that means if you look very honestly within yourselves, that you think that you are not good enough, that you need the approval and the love from someone else. And that was a lesson that I really had to learn, that we are all enough. You were born whole, complete, and innocent. You are perfect the way you are. Whether you get approval from other persons or not, it does not matter. You carry the love and the light within yourself. And every time you get hurt, every time you think someone else has hurt you, you detach from the other person, because the other person is doing his thing, is saying the things from his level of awareness. The only thing you can do is be very aware of how you respond and whether you allow that the other person will hurt you or not. First of all, the most important thing is when you get hurt is to detach from the words of the other person. The words and the actions of the other person only reflect the other person. If we get deeply hurt, it has to do with our attachment to the other person. It has to do with our need for approval, our need for attention, and our need for appreciation. It's okay to feel hurt and sad, but it doesn't help you to blame the other one, because if you start blaming, first of all, you make yourself powerless. You put the power in the hands of the other. When you start blaming, you lower your own energy. You are dimming your own light. Blaming someone is dimming your own light. So when you get hurt and sad, look within yourself. Detach from the other person and look within yourself. You need some loving attention at that moment. You are a divine child of this universe. You are unique. And you have something very valuable to offer to the world. Once you realize that, you become very powerful, but powerful in a positive and compassionate way. So raise your awareness on what kind of people you are interacting with. Interact with supportive people, with loving people, kind-hearted people. People, who give you energy, who give you joy. If you continue to interact with negative people, it is very exhausting. It's very exhausting for yourself. It is draining yourself. Being around people who drain you because you think you have to do it is a form of self-abuse. No, that is not okay to be treated disrespectfully. And that doesn't make you less loving. You can be a very loving and compassionate person and take distance from people who are not respecting you, who are at the level of awareness that they are unconscious of their own words and their own actions. You can be loving and compassionate from a distance. You can spend time in recharging your batteries, in brightening your light, and share it with the world. I know I look happy. I'm happy most of the time, but I am sad sometimes, and that's how I deal with my sadness and with my hurt. Well, that was my message for today. Love you all so much, and hear you next week.